Host Jess Hugo, and I am so excited to have you here. I'm an online personal trainer and nutritionist, but honestly, underneath it all, I am just a girl who is struggling, thriving, and surviving somehow all at once. So if this is you, you are not alone. If you want all the juicy tea on what it's like to be a girl navigating her 20s, I'm talking relationships, health, fitness, social life, work, and everything in between, then you're in the right place.
We drove 2,400 kilometers round trip from Sydney to Melbourne, and I am giving you the whole entire breakdown because I did all the groundwork so that you don't have to. Get your hot chocky, get your fucking iced latte, whatever the fuck you're drinking, get out on your hot girl walk, headphones on, bitch, let's lock in. If you're driving, hi, I see you. Oh my gosh, so this wasn't the plan. The plan was literally for us to use the stupid Cyclone Jetstar vouchers. If you know, you know. If you don't know, quick recap. In March, I was supposed to be going to a retreat in Queensland. Literally, I booked the retreat 10 days out. You already know that's criminal. Like, you got to book your fucking flights in advance, right? No. I literally messaged Tate for a ticket like 11 days out, booked my flights like 10 days out. It was very spontaneous of me, I will admit. I was like, I've just got to do it. And I honestly don't normally buy with that energy. Like, I don't know, if I think about it, do I buy with that energy? I don't know. I think about it, but I'm almost convinced before I even message someone because I hate time wasting. I never want to message someone and be like, yeah, I want to buy. Oh, but I have this question. Oh, but I'm thinking this, I'm thinking that. Like, people like that. That's fine if you buy like that, but I hate doing that to people because I'm very conscious of people's times and whatever. So I never messaged her, and I saw her promoting about it and I was like, oh, like that seems kind of funsies. Anyway, and then I booked 10 days out, and then like literally 4 days out, the cyclone starts hitting Queensland, specifically like Sunshine Coast, Ballina, Byron Bay, all of that, like along the coastline. And that's exactly where we're going. And lo and behold, they actually decided to run my flight in the fucking cyclone. So all I could get was a voucher because I was playing a game with them. I was like, they're going to cancel and then they'll have to refund me because they're cancelling, and they were playing the game of, we're not fucking cancelling, fuck you all. So literally the night before my flight was supposed to go at like 11 p.m, I was like, fuck, I'm just going to have to get this stupid crusty dusty voucher and deal with it later. And they flew the flight. I can only assume that not many people on that flight because they flew the flight 30 minutes before scheduling time the next day. That is honestly insane. They would fly into a cyclone. And on the back end of that, I wouldn't have been able to get back because by Sunday, when I was supposed to fly home, the Sunshine Coast Airport was closed because of the cyclone. So I would have been like stranded and would have been able to get back. Anyway, so they fucking made me take a gift card, and I was like, oh my God, like, let's just go to Melbourne. I've never been to Melbourne. Let's use this damn gift card. Either Melbourne or Perth, I was tossing up. And then that was like kind of done deal. And then my partner was like, oh, I kind of want a road trip. I was like, what the actual helly? So 2,400 kilometers later, here we are. This is the first time I've ever planned something like this. Like, we literally moved around every single day. We've never been there, neither of us. So I had to find, like, you know, when you're just unfamiliar with the area and you're looking at suburbs and you don't really know what's going on, like that was me. And I was like, I don't even know where I'm looking. And specifically, we were looking to stay at places only for one night. So that was hard as well because a lot of places is like a 2-night minimum, especially across a weekend and stuff, which I totally understand. It just wasn't going to work for us in our schedule because it would have like doubled our trip. We wanted to do this in a week, and honestly, initially finding places with the 1-night bookings was hard, but also just finding places in the right areas to gap everything out was also really, really hard. I probably spent at least 5 to 10 hours like researching different places, finding where they were on the map, finding how far they were from location to location so we weren't driving too far but too minimal, trying to figure out like which suburbs like were really rural and which were like closer to things, and it was just like a bit of a nightmare. So I've done the groundwork so that you can have it fucking easy, but let's go. First day, the first place that we went to, it was a place called Tilba. So that's still technically in New South Wales. I think it's about 5 to 6 hours from where I live, and the population is 101. Is that not absolutely criminal? I was like, oh my God, like this is going to be insane. And what I would say, I'm sharing everything, guys, by the way, like the goods, the bads, the like what I would change, and don't take any of this in like a way of like, oh, this bitch is so like, I don't know, privileged. I can complain. I didn't complain. Know that anything I say in here, I didn't leave a review or leave a bad complaint or anything like that to anyone. I'm just sharing my thoughts now that I've had some time to like think, this is what I liked, this is what I didn't like, and all of the things. So population 101, we just didn't really have much choice because New South Wales rural New South Wales, like it's few and far between. It was either driving like all the way to Victoria, which already is like, it's 10 hours, but it would have been probably 8 to be on like the outskirts, or like stopping around the 5 to 6 mark and being able to rest and all of the things. So we stayed at this place where it's almost like a wedding reception, apparently. I didn't see any like weddings and stuff like that, but they also have like some cottages, and they also do like glamping. God, I'm so glad I wasn't in that fucking tent and I had a little cottage, because it was freezing. Our whole stay, even New South Wales, was cold. Like, I know it started raining in Sydney when we were in Melbourne, and it only rained once, thank God, because if you know, you know, Melbourne's still in the fucking thick of their winter right now. It's actually insane there. I actually can't believe it. So the weather really was on our side, and I will say nothing went wrong. Like, as I said, I've never planned for this before, and I don't know where these locations are, and I'm so new to all of this, but literally nothing went wrong, which is really, really great. Like, I really just thought this plan's not going to stick, but here's a rough outline, but bitch, she's stuck. Anyway, Tilba, wedding reception. So they emailed me beforehand, letting me know like the Wi-Fi passwords and everything I need to know. And they said like, you know, they gave me all the details and whatever. And then when we pulled up, there was no service and no Wi-Fi that reached our cottage, which they never actually mentioned that on the website. They never said that it didn't reach that cottage. So we got there the first day, and we wanted to, like, you know, when you're in a place, so like say for example, you know, you're going to Melbourne, you can write like food in Melbourne and things will come up. But if you're like specifically in like, I don't even know, the CBD, and you're standing right there, you can write like food near me, and it's like telling you like good food within like a kilometer. Like, we wanted to do that, but you have to be there to do that, because like zooming in on a camera and doing all that, it's like, sorry, zooming on a map and doing all of that, it just like doesn't work, right? So we were like, okay, cool, like we're gonna get to Tilba, and we're going to like research all of this, so we're not going to worry about it yet. Because on the way to Tilba, we actually stopped in at Kiama and went to the blowhole. It was actually really good because it was a Monday, like not many people were there, and I got some videos of that. And then we also went to Australia Rock, which is literally like a rock that is allegedly looks like Australia and like carved in like the outline of Australia. Did I think it looked like that? Not necessarily, but it was still fun. It was raining a bit then, I think, when we went to the rock, but like nothing major. And again, we didn't really care because like we're just in the car going places. If we can't get out of the car, like that's so fine. But mostly we're looking for like places that we can just like stop, wander around, maybe get some food, go to the bathroom, whatever. Kiama was really nice. Again, I know it's New South Wales, but I just wanted to like put that out there. I've never been there, and that was really, really nice. And we're also collecting stickers along the way, and I was also vlogging. So I did vlog the trip, and I'm pretty sure at the time of this being alive, check the description, but I should have the link below and it should be up if all goes well. I did kind of slack off the vlogging towards the end just because some things were going down, so I kind of started getting shit at it, but you know, we'll get to that. So Kiama, Australia Rock, and then we went to our place. So we went in, and yeah, it had no service, no Wi-Fi. And I was like, what the fuck? They said there's Wi-Fi. And then there was like this, because everything nowadays, I've never even had Airbnb and never booked anything in my life through Airbnb. But when I say nowadays, like, I just think everything is self-check-in, and I love it if it's easy and makes sense. But this place, like, I wasn't even 100% sure if we were like parking in the right spot, and I wasn't 100% sure if everything was right, and then the Wi-Fi wasn't working. So they had this little booklet in there that mentioned like, oh, the Wi-Fi doesn't actually like reach here. God forbid. Have you ever heard of a fucking Wi-Fi extender? Like, seriously. But you need to go to like, I think it was called the Dairy or something, and like go, that's like a communal area or some shit, and it works there. And I was like, well, let's just go there. Not because we need to be using the Wi-Fi and service. I actually don't really give a damn. But we wanted to just plan ahead for the next day and like be able to like at least look at how far things were, because we didn't necessarily know in the moment. Like, again, we did a rough outline, but we didn't actually know. And again, until you get there and you actually can, it's like when you're trying to look something up on a map, it's so much easier if you're already in that spot than like being like, oh, I'm going to the CBD and I'm going to look up the CBD. Like, it doesn't make sense, right? It's too hard, especially when you're not in that area. Like, if you know, you know. Anyway, but then we weren't sure what the Dairy was specifically, because they literally had like so many different places on the like one place. Like, they had different cottages and their house was there, and I was like, I don't know where I'm even supposed to go. And like at one point, I swear to God, I was like standing in their house. I was like, God forbid you put a sign out. And that is my hate comment. I'm saying it right now about New South Wales, but the signage in Melbourne needs help. It's dismal. I'm lost 24/7. Anyway, the place we stayed was nice. They had an outdoor bath, but it was fucking freezing, unfortunately. The inside was like nice. I had like a heater. It was like obviously no Wi-Fi, and then the TV was really small, and they had like old shitty DVDs and whatever, but I actually didn't care. I was like, I'm just gonna read and like try to sort out the next day and whatever and see what's around. But like it was just good vibes to like, cool, we've been traveling all day, we're tired, and we're just gonna like literally go to bed. Tilba Tilba is known for, they have a dairy and like cheese making and like a sweet like a lolly store, and they also have like a bike cycleway. I really wanted to go on the cycleway, but again, we just like, by the time we got there and then like figured everything out and the weather was so bad, we like didn't get to really do that. But we did go to the bigger dairy. So I didn't go to the Tilba dairy because when we were leaving and like checking out, everything was closed. Like nothing open till like 10 or 11. And I was like, I'm not really going to wait around for 2 hours to actually go. So I feel like that's the problem when you only book one night or whatever. You got to check out at 10, and you don't get to check in anywhere between 2 to 4. So then like the next morning you can't do much because things aren't open. So like you can get up early to do things, but they're not fucking open. So we then ended up just leaving Tilba Tilba, not doing much. Like we walked around the little town, but as I said, it's a population of 100 people. It's a tiny little town with cute little like bakery, lolly store, all of the things. And then we ventured along to Bega, because it was on the way to the next location, and that is where they have obviously bigger cheese. It's the factory, and they have like a bit of a museum and all of the things. Honestly, overrated. Like I didn't necessarily hear people talking good about it or bad about it. Like I just saw it on the map and I was like, cool, let's go. But I thought it was going to be like, we're going to go in there and they were going to be making cheese, bitch. No, it wasn't like that at all. And even the workers all seemed kind of miserable. It was like kind of cold in there. The museum was kind of lame. The gift shop, like the worker was like, I don't know, it just was not giving the vibe. So we didn't stay there too long, admittedly. And then the rest was kind of stumbling along the way. So our next point that we went to was Eagle Point in Victoria, and we actually ended up in Eden, which is like a whale. There's like a killer whale museum, and it's all like water and stuff. And that was really, really nice as well. Again, not planned. So we tried to plan like a rough outline, but if we saw things along the way that we wanted to stop to, we just, did that. And then we eventually obviously crossed the border, got into Victoria, and then went into Eagle Point. But we also went to a beach. So I know that like if we needed to pee or like we just saw beaches and stuff, we would just pull over. So that's what I liked about it. Like we were going a certain place, but we can just find things along the way. And sometimes you'll find things so random, like you'll see a sign on the side of the road and you're like, oh cool, like I'm gonna go there. Anyway, the next place we went to, Eagle Point, I actually think was our favorite. It was a little cottage on like acreage and property, and it was like, I want to say semi-rural, and it was fully equipped. They had like a kitchen, bathroom, bed, like everything fully renovated, couch, all of the things. They had like a reading nook, which was really great because on that day I had to get into check-ins because I was still working through the time. So I was like, cool, I'm going to sit in this little reading nook and I'm going to work away. They had a little horse, like a pony, and a lamb, and they had a dog. I can't remember what dog they had now. Maybe it was like a Labrador, or it could have been a boxer. I don't know. But it was like such good vibes there, honestly. Like it was so cute. So like everything you need. It had a TV, but we actually brought our projector with us. So we just put up the projector and we just watched some like TV. They didn't have Wi-Fi, but it actually honestly didn't matter because they had service, whereas the first place didn't have service or Wi-Fi. So at least with that one, we were able to like organize food, like if we needed to, look where we're going the next day. And that one was really nice because our checkout the next day was like 10 or something like that. So we'd woken up a little bit early and we just had a chill morning, like looking at the cows, all of the things. And I feel like when you think of Melbourne and when you think of CBD and stuff, it's all like go, go, go. So I thought it was really, really nice to have kind of places that were just a bit more chill, lookout vibes, like acreage vibes, because we had our car, you know what I mean? Like it didn't necessarily matter about how close we were to things because we had our car. And it was really cool stumbling across things along the way. I can't remember for the life of me the name of the next place I'm mentioning, but we actually went to get breakfast that morning after we'd checked out from Eagle Point, and it was like a Christmas themed store connected to a cafe, and they had all these Christmas trees. Mind you, it was the end of October and it was already set up, which was really, really cool. They had all these Christmas trees, all these ornaments. It was a whole gift shop. It was really, really cool. And then they had a cafe on the other side. So that was really nice. And I think it might have been, it says in my maps, I'm looking, it says Forge Creek, but I don't actually know. You know when you don't actually know, like I can't remember the name of it, but that was really cool as well, just to do some chill vibes and wait, because again, we knew we wouldn't be able to check in until later. So we then went through like the scenic route. We went to like a waterfall, all of the things. It was actually cool. We kind of got lost looking for a waterfall. Again, like no service. You don't know where you're going. Your map's not working. But that just is what kind of makes the most out of it. Again, I didn't want it to be this stressful thing. And then eventually we're at the CBD. Now the CBD, I honestly wanted to go to the CBD so bad. I thought it was going to be such good vibes, but I honestly want to say it's the fucking opposite. Like, it was not all that it's cracked up to be. We stayed at a Vani hotel in the CBD. It allegedly has a 4-star rating and is apparently new and like freshly renovated and all of the things. First things first, we pulled up and there was construction in the fucking street. Actually, no. Before we even get to that, no one warned me that Melbourne does left, right hook turns. Hook turns. What the fuck? So I understand now, but no one warned me about it. So basically, if you don't know, you're not silly because I didn't know either, but you get in the left-hand lane to turn right in the Melbourne CBD. Make that make sense. That literally sounds like the most dangerous thing in my life. So instead of turning right from the right lane, you literally have to get out of the right lane, go to the left lane, sit in the middle of the left-hand side of the intersection to turn right. Criminal. So like, obviously we didn't know that. And like, Luke was originally like in the right lane. Obviously I didn't drive, guys, at all, by the way. He drives manual and I can't drive that shit. Anyway, so he's in the right-hand lane, ready to turn right. And like, then it says like you need to move over to the left-hand lane, and then he's like in the middle of the intersection. I just think it's so dangerous because you have to watch in front of you, you have to watch beside you, you have to watch behind you, and then basically every single time I watched anyone do it, they went through the red light because they waited there so long. It's like a composite light when you wait in the middle of the intersection so long that by the time you get a chance to go, it's only because everyone stopped on the red fucking light. And I felt like their red lights, the gaps between the next one going green for like the other side, was prolonged because of their right-hand turn, just based off observation. And I know why they have it, because of the trams, but it sounds like the most dangerous thing ever because you've got to watch every single traffic of direction and you're probably going to get T-boned. Like, literally, what the fuck? After that, Luke was like, I'm not leaving and driving my car in the CBD until we have to fucking leave this bitch, because we were staying at the CBD for 2 nights. So that was the one that we booked 2 nights where everything else was 1 night. Anyway, so we booked parking. We pull up after all the fucking chaos with the fucking hook turns or whatever the fuck they're called. I literally saw a news article last week about someone getting T-boned by the fucking tram because of the hook turns. And you know what? I'm not surprised because they are the most confusing things ever. Melbourne, what are you doing? Get rid of it. I don't know if anyone listening is from Melbourne, but that is the most confusing thing in my life. I know it's only in the CBD, but seriously, they need to get rid of it. That's actually criminal. And imagine watching traffic from every single direction while you're in the middle of the intersection and the light's red. You're just stressing for no reason. Anyway, after that, my partner was like, nah, we're not fucking leaving until we're leaving. And I was like, no, because you guys don't even realize I paid $45 a night to park our fucking car in the hotel so that we could leave with our car, because we were originally looking at Wilson parking and it was like $20, but then you had to literally leave your car in there. Like, you weren't able to move your car. If you moved your car, you had to repay $20+ or whatever. Like, $20 was still cheaper because it was like early bird, but I was like, I don't want to repay every single time I leave and then lose my spot. I was like, no, that's not happening. And then so I bought the freaking hotel parking. Criminal that they're charging that much. And then we didn't even leave in our car anyway. We already planned to use public transport, obviously, because it's the CBD, but it was just we were going one place and we knew it was an hour out, so we're thinking about driving to that because it was an hour away. But after that, he was like, no. And I was like, great. And also, we didn't want to do Wilson parking because can you just imagine lugging all your fucking luggage down the road to the hotel? Anyway, they had all this construction out the front. I don't even know how to get into this parking. So he's sitting outside in the construction. I'm running in. I'm like, can I just check in, please? And he was like, oh, have you sorted out your parking? And I was like, no. You've never even met me. What do you mean? I haven't even checked in. Why would I have the parking garage key? What the fuck? Anyway, I was like, no, I don't know where to go because of the God forbid. I don't know if it's just because I'm a business owner. I have high standards, whatever. God forbid you send me a fucking email and let me know that you have construction going on out the front. God forbid you say, hey, Jess, I know you've actually booked parking. I know you've messaged me about parking, which was a nightmare to even get in the first place because I literally sent them an email multiple times and they didn't get back to me. They clearly didn't want my $45 per fucking night. And anyway, they knew I booked it. So why couldn't they say, hey, just letting you know that's booked in. By the way, we have construction going on out the front. So our exit and entry is the same and you'll just need to enter via the exit for your parking, come in, get whatever, like send me the instructions. Why did they not do that? So that was already like a red flag, number one, because even me, like when I have face-to-face sessions, I literally say to the girls where to park. I literally say where to park, where I meet them all. Like, I'm telling you everything. You guys know the community walk. I sent you like 3 different places to park. I'm setting you up. I'm sending you Google Maps because I, an anxious girly with driving when I'm in unfamiliar places, need to know what the go is because I'm not having a panic attack in my car. Literally just tell me where it is, right? So I'm like, why did they do that? Literally, what the hell? So that already like put me into like off on the wrong foot with them. I was like, what the hell? And then our car was like, the car park aligned with like, I can't remember what level it was, but let's just say like level 3. And then every single time we went to level 3 to try to get to our level, because we were on like a higher, like a 20-ish level, the elevator took so fucking long, bro. Like we sat there once with all our shit. Imagine holding all this stuff because you're trying to do minimal trips. It's like when you go to the grocery store and you're coming in and you're bringing it from the boot and you've got like 50 things on each arm. That's what we were doing. And we waited for the elevator for like 5 minutes and we were getting big mad at them. We were like, what the fuck is wrong with this place? 4-star hotel, my ass. Anyway, the suite and stuff was all really nice and stuff. Honestly, I'm trying to like set the scene, but also like go watch the vlog. Surely she's up. Come on, Jess. Anyway, 4-star hotel. It was a suite, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathroom. I did not mean to book that. I think that was an accident. I did not know I had 2 bedrooms, 2 bathroom. Like that's so unnecessary. But it had a washing machine and a dryer, which is originally I was like, yes, we're gonna need that. Like it's a halfway point. Want to wash anything? We want to wash all of the things. We ended up having like literally no time to even do it, to be honest. So waste. But okay, here's my hate comments. There was stains like all over the carpet. What the fuck? Like I know it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but 4-star hotel and it's stains on the carpet, like what the fuck? They had redone the tiles in the shower and they were like uneven. Like I feel like someone could probably fucking crack their fucking foot open on it. Like seriously, what the hell? And it looked gross and dirty then just because they were like regrouted and then like, you know how obviously when grouts, you know what I'm saying. It looked ridiculous. If you had the light on in your bathroom, the other light in the bathroom had to be on and vice versa. So if you turned one off, they would both turn off. So we had a second bathroom we weren't using. So obviously I turned the light off and then it turned our main bathroom light off. And I was like, that is so weird. Why are they connected? So unnecessary. And then obviously, oh my God, why am I blanking on what I was just going to say? Obviously there was aircon as well. That was like units, not central. And it was old. And it literally made noise even when it was turned off to the point that we had to turn off the fucking circuit breaker. Sorry, Avani Hotel or whatever your fucking name is, but we had to turn it off at the wall because it was humming in the middle of the fucking night, and that was night 1, and it was terrible. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna go complain to them in the morning and just say, my aircon's broken, like, can I move? Wasn't going to disrespect them. Honestly, they're lucky. They're 24 hours. They're lucky I didn't go down there that night when it was waking me up. You know, when you're just getting woken up by some fucking noise and you're enraged and it's like 1 a.m. and you're like, fucking, yeah, that was me. And I was like, do I borderline walk down there right now? No, because I'm probably not going to be as polite to them as I will be in the morning. They don't need the hate just because, I don't know, their manager won't spend some fucking money on a fucking aircon unit. Anyway, so I said I'll go talk to them in the morning and stuff because obviously it was all in my name and stuff. And then Luke was just like, what's the point, to be honest, because we're barely in the room anyway and we're going out heaps anyway and all of the things. And true, we were actually rushing out the door a little bit on that next morning because we went to Puffing Billy, which is the steam train. Good vibes, honestly, recommend. It was probably like $60 to $70 each, I think, but it was a round trip, so it takes about 4 hours, but it was an hour and a half out from the CBD, so it almost didn't make sense for us to do it on that day, but we didn't have time to do it the day before because we would have had to get there again at 10 a.m, but they told you to get there an hour before at 9 a.m, so we would have had to get there at 9 a.m. and like literally I don't even know, like we would have had to leave Eagle Point at like 6 or 7 a.m. and then we hadn't even checked in, so all our stuff would be in the car. It was just like, would have been a whole thing. So that's why we had to use it on the CBD day. But yeah, it was about an hour and a half transport one way. So it was a really, really big day going to that, and it took out a big chunk of our day. And then that night we went to Luna Park because we had Halloween like Fright Night tickets. Sorry, but Sydney Luna Park shits on Melbourne. Like Melbourne Luna Park is so small. We literally just spent like an hour in there and left. We did about 4 to 5 rides. We went there as soon as it opened. Like it was really nice. Like the staff were really nice and like the vibes were really good and stuff like that, in terms of like how they had set it up and stuff like that. But honestly, like would not go again, would not pay for it again. We left in an hour because I also had bookings for the penguins. So they started doing, like, literally a week before we went, they posted that they had completed the St Kilda pier. So St Kilda is where Luna Park is as well. They said they completed the pier and they're going to do bookings to come see the penguins for free, but only 150 people could go in. I literally saw the TikTok within like an hour of it being posted and booked. So I was like, we are going to Luna Park and then we're going to see these fucking penguins, because like we were like the only people on the planet to get fucking tickets, really, because honestly when we got there everyone was complaining that it was so hard to get tickets. People were complaining about the fact it was ticketed and so like limited numbers, and they were literally booked out until like March next year. So I was just really lucky to happen to stumble across it on TikTok at that time, because I'd been doing so much Melbourne research. Otherwise, honestly, it probably wouldn't have come up for me. Would I rush to do it? Like, no, but it was really cute. It's just like you can barely see them, obviously, in terms of like they're few and far between. It's obviously dark. They do special lighting, obviously, for the penguins, but you can't see them that well. And even if you try to take a photo and stuff, like the lighting's not that great. And that was like a full on day thing, like all day. We were back for like maybe an hour, like between the steam train. We went and got like pancake parlor and stuff after that, because we were so hungry, even though they had really cool stuff on the other side. Like they had a walking track, they had a cafe, but obviously everyone from the train was there. So it was like, was I going to wait an hour for cafe food? No, I want to try different stuff out and around Melbourne, like pancake parlor and stuff, and that's why I did that. But also, I forgot to say, the facilities of the hotel actually were nice. So they had a sauna, a pool, a spa. It was closed for renos, a gym, a like ping pong table, and they also had a steam room and a barbecue. The barbecue was also closed off with the spa. So the facilities were nice. It was just like the rooms had been like kind of like forgotten, and they kind of seemed old, like, you know, when it's like a key room instead of like electric. That was the vibe. But then I was confused because I thought they were renovating, because some bits were freshly new renoed, and you can just tell. And also in the elevators, you know, when there's a new apartment building or whatever, in the elevators they've like got the curtains around the mirrors and stuff for tradies coming in because they're still doing work. That's how it was set up in their elevators. So I thought they were still like they were freshly new, freshly renovated, but I'm assuming I was wrong, because like it was not giving that vibe at all afterwards, like with the fucking stains and stuff. But like I also know equally, like people can live there. It doesn't mean like, you know what I mean? Like someone could have lived in that apartment and owned it for a year or something. Like I don't know the ins and outs, but like maybe that's why it's all fucked up. Anyway, so because we spent that whole day out, that's why it was like, who even cares about the aircon enough to complain, because we were checking out then the next day, you know what I mean? So we quickly went to the Queen Victoria Market, but we were there at 8 a.m. the next morning because that was on the to-do list. So not a lot of stuff was open, and it just felt like frustrating because obviously Melbourne like does stuff later, whatever, but with the checkout times and stuff, you can't go later, otherwise you have all your shit and whatever. And like the Queen Victoria Market, like we weren't going to be able to like really park there necessarily, and again, you don't want to pack all your stuff and take your packed car there. You want to just be able to like venture out there. So it did suck that we were like so busy doing all of that stuff, you know what I mean? But still good. I got this like coffee in the can there, that was nice. That was the only good coffee I had, honestly. Sorry, I think that Melbourne does not beat Sydney based on the things I did. So for example, I had a bunch of sweet treats listed down. You guys know I'm a sweet treat girly, and I didn't realize how far away some of them were. Like some of them were in like Port Melbourne, Hawthorn, like they weren't near where I thought. Like I thought the CBD would be like it has everything, or it's like quite close. Like think of here, CBD has everything, or like this remain like the suburbs around are quite close, like Bondi or whatever. You can get there within like 15-20 minutes or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But like there, it just felt so not manageable and so hard, and their transport so confusing. Where are their fucking signs? It's so old. I can't believe they do the Mikey cards. If anyone wants $9 on a Mikey card, hit me the fuck up, because I can't believe you can't just tap your card there. Like Melbourne, keep up. Like what the hell? Anyway, so I went to, they just changed their name. I don't know what they've changed it to now, but it was called Cinnabons. They had to change their name because Cinnabon was like suing them for copying them. Everyone hypes them up so much, saying they're like the best scrolls in Melbourne. Sorry, Bondi, Sundays, Bondi, their scrolls, shit on them. Sorry, shit on them. Like literally, no, wasn't about it. we ventured out to get there like on our way through because it was raining. I wanted to do the 1000 step Federation walk, but it was raining. I couldn't do any of it. And I honestly made a whole list of so much stuff I wanted to do, like the black and white Flinders Street photo booth, going to like maybe the botanical gardens or something like that. But I just like couldn't do much. Like I already slammed so much into that day between the steam train, Luna Park, everything. Your girl had 20,000 plus steps. Like there was no way she could add anything more in. And then we were going further into Victoria. So we went down the Great Ocean Road the whole fucking way. We actually stopped off at a chocolatier on the way, which was so cool. We stopped at the signage. It was just like getting so rural. There's like kangaroos everywhere. And we actually went down to Cape Otway, which was the Skypods. I got so many questions about the Skypods when I posted about it. The like glass room in the middle of nowhere that I posted. Skypods, Cape Otway, look them up. They are so cool. It was very rural and far out and like 30 minutes from like an IGA, but it had service. You weren't like so far away that nothing was working and stuff. Like I'm pretty sure I had like 5 bars of service. It was quite high, which was really, really cool. Couldn't check in till 4 p.m. So, you know, have to again take your time like going there and stuff like that and be consider of the fact that like you have to waste from 10 a.m. to like 4 p.m. doing something. I think we literally went to the shops because it was raining, so we couldn't go on any of the walks or any of the things. But anyway, we went there because Luke actually wanted to go to the 12 Apostles, sorry. I never had heard of them in my life, so my care factor for them was low-key 0. Like I knew what they looked like, but I was like, I couldn't care for them. And honestly, half of them don't even exist anymore. Like honestly, I think there's only like 6 now or something like that, because I think they've like eroded and just broken over time and whatever. So basically from this day onwards, because I like took over the CBD and all of the things, I was like, okay, like we'll just do what you want to do. So if you think anything else is lame from here on out, that's because it wasn't my choice. No, but seriously. So we went to the 12 Apostles, but that actually landed on Saturday, unfortunately. So then it was quite touristy. It was quite busy, all of the things. There was just so many people there, but the weather was really good. It was like warm but cold. Like we were wearing jumpers and I was wearing leggings and whatever, but like the sun was warm and the photos we took were really, really nice. My vlogging really dwindled down, girl. Like I'm looking through, because you got to vlog sideways as well. So I'm like, I forget. And I'm like, oh, I've done this video. No, because I did it the wrong fucking way. Anyway, that was all really, really nice. Again, you wouldn't be able to get to the Skypods without a car. So it's like those were the things that we like got to do because we road tripped, so we wouldn't have got to do them otherwise. And even like the Apostles, everyone that was there like had a car. Like I don't really feel like you could probably get like a tour bus or something, but I don't really feel like you could have accessed it without a car or like a rental car or something. Like, and if you're going to get a rental car and go down that whole route, you may as well just like drive, you know what I mean? But I know as myself, as if I was like a single girl, I would not have driven. Fuck no. But I would have like happily gone on a plane, you know? Anyway, moving along. So then we went to Mia Mia, which was actually apparently announced by Maya, but I'm going to say Mia Mia. I don't really care. That's only an hour and a half to 2 hours from Melbourne. So it's actually a really cool, like, weekend away if you live in Melbourne, away from like the hustle and the bustle, I guess. And it was like rural and really, really nice. We stayed in a tiny home. It very much was a tiny home. Like it was giving small, but it wasn't about that for us. It wasn't about having the nicest accommodation. Like, yes, I can complain about the hotels and all of the things, but as I said, we weren't. It was literally like we need a fridge for all our food and stuff, and we need like potentially a kitchen if we cook, and potentially like a washing machine or whatever. If it doesn't have all of those 3 things, fine. We just really need like, I guess, a fridge and a place to stay. Like it wasn't about this being like super bougie. We made sure the last one was like the nicest one so we could like recoup by the end, you know what I mean? But it wasn't like this thing of like we need to be in this 5-star fucking place because we're staying at the hotel. Like we really weren't there much, so it didn't really matter to us. And same with the tiny home. Like it was small, but we were just staying there basically to sleep, so it wasn't too bad. The tiny home check-in was 4, I think, but he told me it was ready from 2, I think. I can't remember, but like we weren't going to get there by then anyway. And checkout wasn't until like 11 or 12, like quite generous, because again, it was like someone's property, a tiny home on someone's like property, so it's more generous than like a hotel who's like sick of you by 10, you know? Anyway, that was really nice and cool. He was a cool vibe, honestly. And he actually is like building more on his lot and stuff, and he had like a food truck and all of these things. So he like made me a coffee, and he was like, yeah, I take this food truck to like the markets and stuff. And I thought that was cool because like seriously, I had barely had any good coffees. They were like so hard to come by, especially in the rural areas. So I was like, slay the coffee. Anyway, as I said, Luke wanted to go to like the rest of the places. He'd kind of planned the rest of the trip. God forbid that guy plans something and then he does and I'm complaining. Lock me up. So he really wanted to go to the Edamoga pub in Tabletop. It's like the OG one. Apparently like Kellyville ripped off the other one. I think it's in Kellyville or is in Rouse Hill. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. They look identical. They have the same fucking slogan song on the side. They have the same like colors and stuff on the outside, but the inside there was so much cooler. People have written all over the walls. There's like number plates and all of this memorabilia, and it's really, really cool. So honestly, it definitely shits on, and the food was good. The sizings, like the portions were definitely generous. It was so hot that day though, like so hot. It was criminal, but it was really, really cool and different, and they had the car on top and all of the vibes, and so Luke was really into that. And then he also wanted to go to the Dog on the Tucker box because by this point we were heading back to Sydney, but we were stopping off before we were home. So again, I didn't really care for any of that, but there was this like ice cream place. It was average, so not gonna yap on about it, but some guy offered to take photos of us at the Tucker box, so you probably saw them on my Instagram. I actually looked like a child in them. Like, why do I look 10 years old sometimes? It's actually insane. So as I said, we left the last place as the most expensive one in like terms of like we were looking for something comfort, quality, whatever, so that it was like we didn't know how we were going to feel by the last day. We didn't know how everything was going to like map out. As I said, everything actually worked out really perfect and fine, apart from missing a couple things because of the rain or whatever. Like everything was really great. Nothing didn't go to plan. So we weren't sure, and we just booked this with like the intention of like we just want to have a chill vibe before we get back home. So this place was about an hour and a half out from 3.5 hours out from Sydney, or say 2.5 hours, but 3.5 hours from my house. So we knew that like it was a short leg back home. It was again a tiny home, but this one was like next level. It was like around $500, and I've seen people like getting engaged there and all of the things. So it really sets the standard so high, because like what Luke's going to propose to me in the backyard at this point, because we've gone to all these places where people I know are getting proposed to and all of these things, and we're just like there hanging out. It is so funny to me. But anyway, they were really cool because they had like an outdoor bath. It was on a bit of like a farm with heaps of cows. They had like the bed on the window, like with the open window. You would have seen again on my Instagram or the blog. And she actually set it up with some cheese and crackers and wrote me like a little handwritten note. There was some chocolate, milk, all of the things. But it was like the actual property was really nice, just between the barbecue, the swing, the cows, the bath, actually having access to like a fridge and all of the things. Like it was set up really, really cool. Oh my God, I was just hearing someone like mowing and it freaked me out for a minute. Sorry guys. I was like, hello, but I had to stop talking to hear it. Anyway, so yeah, that was a really, really cool setup. They also left marshmallows and like there was a fireplace with wood and stuff. So it was just really good vibes to just like take a breath. But oh my God, the flies, out of this world. I actually need to invest in a cork hat at this point. Every single summer is getting worse, and the flies were actually horrid. Like, and there was no fly spray. And this is the thing as well, not a big deal, but some of the places we stayed at also didn't believe in microwaves, which I thought was very crazy. I just didn't expect them to like all be against the microwaves and stuff. And then they said that people were like complaining about them not having microwaves, and I was like, I kind of get it, because I didn't care enough to be like, oh my God, there's no microwave. Like, I honestly didn't really realize, but we had got some food obviously along the way, and I was like, I'm just going to take this to the next place and heat it up. You can't fucking heat it up without a microwave. So some of these rural places didn't believe in the microwaves because like the radioactivity, and I was like, oh my God. So that did happen a lot where we couldn't actually heat up the foods we had and stuff. But again, it like wasn't major. At this place, we just made a barbecue. We got some steaks on the way and all of the things. But it was so cool. She had a little like book exchange. It was like such good vibes. Sunset was so good. The bath was so good. Like, it was such good vibes. My one hate comment, there was no blinds. Not that it mattered for like privacy, you know what I mean? It was in the middle of nowhere and it was really far from the house, but it was so bright. It was so bright. The moon was so bright. There was 2 massive windows, like between the doors and the window of the bed. And then obviously the sun in the morning was so bright. So I had two eye masks. Luke didn't want it, whatever, loser. I had mine, but it still woke me up. It was so bright. So that day we were literally up at like 6 a.m. So we just checked out early and started heading home because we were like, let's just get home, organize our life. Everything felt like a bit of a hot mess. And the reason I started falling off but towards the end of like the vlogging and everything going on is like I was so anti my phone. So much was happening in like business and life, and I was like, I am not going on my phone anymore. Like, I've done my due diligence. It's now the weekend. I'm not going on. So that is why I kind of stopped vlogging and filming and whatever, because I was like off it a little bit. Some things were going down and I was getting ick vibes. So I was like, nope, I'm not going on. And I kind of ghosted and didn't even post stories. Sorry about it. Lock me up. But 2,400 Ks. Would I do a road trip again? I don't know, guys. Like, I didn't drive at all, obviously. So it wasn't actually like taxing on me. But fuck, sometimes you're like sitting in the car for like 6-7 hours. It's so hot and you're just like overstimmed a little bit. But sometimes it was like chill vibes. The only thing I would say is like, it just depends on your job as well. Like, obviously Luke had time off. I was still working. Some places just didn't have service, and it is what it is, and you can't do much about it. You can't just get your service working, and you don't know that you're not going to have service. And even like driving along these rural roads, even now if you drive up like, you know, the motorway and stuff, the highway, sometimes you don't have service and it is patchy, so it should be expected. And I think it's like 2025 and everyone expects you to be so available, and then obviously you can't be if your phone's not even fucking working. And I don't even have 5G, I only have 4G, so my phone was not working like tenfold. But it was really, really nice to actually just be like, I'm not using my phone anymore. Responsibility in the bin. It's the weekend, and that's kind of why if the vlog dies off, I don't know if I'm going to get it out because I don't know how much footage I have towards the end. But if it dies off, I don't do it, whatever. At least you know from this what actually went down. If you were planning to book a road trip and you want to know like specific places and details and whatever, just message me and we can talk about it, because I feel like this would have been the perfect thing. And this is why I wanted to vlog. There was no information on half the places I went to out there. And so I was like, I need to do this so that other people get an idea of what's actually involved and where you can go and what's worth it and what's not and all of the things. And like, if someone had put a vlog up and said, this place has no fucking service, then I would have been like, oh, might not book that place. You know what I mean? But overall, still really great. Still glad I did it, but I'm definitely not running back to Melbourne anytime soon. That's why my $9 Mikey card's up for offer, because the vibes were just not there, guys. I don't get the hype. Like, if I had to think of my list right now, Queensland is still number one for me. When I say New South Wales, I just kind of mean Sydney, because rural New South Wales is not that bad. Victoria, New South Wales was... Victoria, rural Victoria. I feel like I just stuffed up everything I said. Let me reset. Queensland, number one. Number two, Sydney. I think rural Victoria overtakes that, but then like I'm saying, rural Victoria is better than rural New South Wales, but the Melbourne's like the CBD lets it down. So I'd be like Queensland, New South Wales / Sydney, and then like Melbourne / Victoria, if that was my tier. But I haven't gone to other places yet to like change my mind. But Queensland's still number one for me, guys. Crazy, I know. Anyway, that is all from me. I hope this has made you decide whether you do or don't want to do a road trip, because it's a lot of commitment. But all the groundwork, honestly, go on Airbnb, put in the suburbs, look around, and then try to book independently with them so they get all the money and like Airbnb doesn't rot them in the meantime. There goes my Airbnb sponsorship. But seriously, go look for them so you can actually support them directly rather than like a big company. Try to book with smaller people where you can. That is all from me, and I will catch you in the next one. Mwah. That's a wrap on another episode of Navigating Your 20s. Thank you so much for joining me and taking the time to listen. If you enjoyed the conversation, vibes, and got something out of today, please feel free to send me a DM with any key takeaways and feedback, or share on your socials and tag me so we can connect. If you liked today's episode and you're wanting more from me, you can find me on all socials at success.withjess.